Hi folks, Sid here, Border Archery. Got a strange one this morning. Bow length. What is a bow length? How would you describe a bow length, and why would you choose a particular bow length? Well, not all bows are the same length, and I want to try and describe that. But let's start off with why would you choose a bow length? You choose a bow length because, well, if you like shorter bows, it's to do with the finger pinch, right? The angle based on your draw length. And it does fall off quite a hill based on observations, that when you get into too short a bow, you really start struggling with accuracy. 28 inches, about a 60-inch bow. Below that, it starts to give you issues. Above it, less so. But anyway, if you're more of a target archer though, you're probably wanting a string angle, but I think that's probably the main reason to give you that string angle. The string angle will give you points of reference, points of contact that you know and you understand. It sets your form up. Hunters again though, that they probably want a shorter bow for ease of movement through woodland, through compact type spaces. So between string angles and compactness, I think those are probably the two main reasons why you would choose a bow of a set length. Now, the problem I've got now is that people get fixated on a certain length of bow, and it's a horrible concept as to how long a bow is. Because it used to be that you'd measure unstrung from knock shoulder round the recurve, straight across, round to the knock shoulder. That used to be the bow length. With a longbow, it would just literally be from knock shoulder to knock shoulder. But that doesn't apply anymore. It seems to be that the new standard is that you have a bow length can be any length the bow is, as long as the standard size string fits it. So a 60-inch bow can be any length the bow needs to be to deliver the correct bracing height. Now that means if you've got a bow that wants to run a shorter bracing height, you end up having to cut the bow shorter so that a standard string that isn't 60 inches long, it's only 57 inches long, gives you the correct bracing height for that bow, and you mark it as 60. So there's now nothing about that bow that is or has anything to do with 60. It just so happens that a 57-inch string delivers the correct bracing height, therefore it must be a 60. Now, for ease of numbers, I'm going to go with 1 inch for 1 inch. It's not, it's about 1 inch for just over 3/4 of an inch, right? But 1 inch of bracing height difference is, for sake of argument, 1 inch in string length. So if you run a conventional limbed bow, then you've probably got an 8.5, 9 inch bracing height, between 8 and 9, somewhere in there. Now, if I was to make the limbs of exactly the same amount of material, but I make the recurves bigger, right, then this geometry here remains, if it was to remain constant so that the vertical stability remains constant, then the more you curl the limb, the shorter this part gets, which means your bracing height ends up getting less. So if I was to run a standard string on this, I would still end up with an 8.5 inch bracing height. Or to run the 6.5 inch bracing height, I would have to cut the bow length down by 2 inches. Now remember, you wanted a bow length. Well, now you're actually buying a string length, but your bow length is now technically, according to the length that you've described, is now compromised. So to make a big recurve like this, you end up having to compromise your string angles, and that's something that you might not want to do. Okay? So the second problem, and I'm going to say it's a problem, is that when the recurve comes to full draw on some of these big recurves, then the limb is sitting upright or somewhere near upright, which means it's not pointing backwards. So for any particular length of bow, the string angle you end up with is related to 2 items. One is how far back the string goes, how far back the limb tip goes, but also how high it goes. Yeah? And those 2 things are problematic in terms of super recurves. So you end up with 2 compromises on your finger pinch when it comes to really big super recurves, if the manufacturer follows the ATA standard by ignoring the actual bow itself and making it compromised by a $20 string. Okay, so let's start with some of the fun aspects. Sorry, I got this bow to stand here. Some aspects of bow design. So long bows, hybrids, reflex, deflex. Here we have our hawk, yeah, with a reflex portion to the limb, right? This bow, it's a 66 inch. I've left my tape measure somewhere. Tape measure. It's a 66 inch bow, and with its bracing height, if I measure from end, here we go for my long arm effort. It's let's see if I can get this, 64 inches to the knock shoulders. All right, 64 inches. Right. Now that's a 66 inch bow. Now, if I get down, now you'll be able to see roughly from here to the top of the screen. When I start pulling this back, the limb starts coming down, okay? The string starts dropping down, right? The limb, old man noises, the limb will start creating an arc, so it will come down in height. So at full draw, this bow is now shorter. Yeah? As I said, height and length back generates the string angles. Yeah, that's a long bow, flat bow if you're in Britain. So then we have a very conventional mild recurve. Okay, now this recurve is sitting at an ever so slight angle backwards. Now this is a medium limb on a 19 inch riser, so it's technically a 62. And from knock shoulder to knock shoulder, it's 59.25 inches. Okay, so let's see if I can, oh, my fingers on the way. Yeah, 59.25 inches. All right, so this is a 62. I'll pick that one up, shall I? Right, again, first inch or two, the bow straight away starts getting shorter, right? So again, see if I can put there. The limb gets shorter, okay? See what I mean? So what is a bow length? It's its length, and it's also the string angle generated. So here we have a 19-inch riser with a medium limb. So this one, when it touches the ground, will stop. This one, when it touches the ground, will stop. So what is a bow length? Now remember I said that bow length is a more compact environment as well as string angles. Sorry folks, there we go. So here we go. This is 6 inches shorter in length. So that's 3 inches at each end. Yeah? So let's have a quick look at the bow's length. Typical. Come on, stay put. There we go. Right, so if I hold that up there and I come all the way down to here. Where's the camera lens? There it's there. 53, 54. 54 inches. And it's the same spec as this. 19 for 19. Yeah, medium limb for medium limb. Right? And the fun about this one is it's all rolled over. Okay, that's why it's shorter. If I stood all that up, it would get taller, wouldn't it? Alright? Now, here we go for the fun part. String pinch, finger pinch. Okay? So, if I bring that bow down until it's at the top of the camera lens, oh look at that, it's at the top of the machine nearly, there, right? So, it gets taller, quite a bit taller before it comes back. Okay? So top there. Right. Now what I describe this as, whilst most bows get 3 to 4 inches shorter as they come back, this bow actually works in a compact environment. It actually ends up the same length almost all the way through its draw cycle. Yeah? Now, because of the lower bracing height, we have not cut the limbs back. We've actually almost matched the conventional recurve for actual limb material and the riser length. Yeah? See what I mean by that? So, if this has the same amount of material as that has, because we haven't tipped our hat to ATA over a stupid string length, we've actually made the bow length, which is what you've ordered, we've made it the same. We've almost got rid of 3/4 of the problem of finger pinch on super recurves, because we've actually got the same amount of bow length. That's 3/4 of the total problem, because it runs a lower bracing height and we haven't appeased the ammo standards by butchering the bow that you've spent the money on. Yeah. So if you buy a super recurve, a big super recurve, from a manufacturer who says they're ATA compliant, you're actually buying a shorter bow, almost 2 inches shorter. So if you buy a 60 inch, you're actually probably getting a 58 inch on the old style of measuring. We think that's bonkers. There are other designs out there where they run a lowish bracing height, but it's not really low because D-flex kicks the riser out. And those designs claim to be, for example, a 60, but they're actually delivering a 59-inch bow. Yeah. So what is a bow length, and why are you so hanked on the idea of wanting a 60-inch bow, a 58-inch bow? Why is that so important to you? Yeah. Because most people don't consider that the super recurve ends up delivering a shorter bow in the first place. See what I mean? So what we've tried to do is we've tried to comply with a bow length, i.e. the actual physical material of the bow, similar to the old school style of measuring. And we've tried to comply with that so that we can deliver a string angle finger pinch that you understand, bearing in mind that the finger pinch is what it is for a target archer. They're not really bothered about the length of the bow as long as it provides the string angles that they're looking for at their draw length. But for the hunters, as I'll say, 62 for 62, 6 inches shorter. This bow will get shorter for every inch you pull it back. This bow will retain its length as you pull it back. So what do you want from a bow? Compact working environment? This wins. Finger pinch? Well, it's equal. Yeah? 62-inch bow versus a 66. Should we measure it? Well, you want a bow length, do you? 11 inches. 11 inches shorter. See what I mean? So, when you are specific about the bow length that you want, well, I can provide a bow length that you want. It's shorter than you thought, but it's not shorter than you thought, it's just all hooked up. Yeah? But we've tried to solve the string issue, the string pinch issue. Yeah? So that's why we do not abide by ammo standards, because we think it's stupid. It's there to make it easy for a retailer to sell you a string. It doesn't do anything else other than makes it easy for a retailer to sell you a string. You bought a bow length, not a string length. Alright? Now I'm going to get the same usual faces complaining that here's me harping on about it. But why would you tell me that you want a 60-inch bow and my recommendation is a 62 and you say that's too long? Too long why? It's going to be shorter. It's going to give you more friendly string angles. Why? Are you telling me you know better? So there you go. Food for thought. Punchy question at the end. Good. Think. Challenge accepted. Okay? So, any questions, stick them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer you. Okay? But just remember, super recurves, they break most of the rules. They're an absolute pain because they're not what we've done for the past 60 years. They are new. Well, they're not really new, they're about 20 years old now, but everybody else is catching up. Alright, so questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.